Hello everyone, we're back in the MINI Countryman SE and it's time to charge once again. We have 23 miles of range this particular time, which means we have 9% of our battery charge, though this time I think we're going to have a little bit of a better charging session just because our battery is actually warmer this time, so we don't have to precondition it. It's already at its optimal temperature, which is pretty good. Let's see, battery temperature okay, ready for faster DC charging. Last time it was too low in the battery pack and cold, so we couldn't precondition it. But this time I think we should be in a better situation. Now, we can use the built-in MINI navigation system actually to give us some charging points, but where the charger we're going right now actually does not show up in here for some reason, just because I don't think the superchargers with the magic connectors are loaded into the MINI system. And it also gives you this little bubble of actually how far you can make it on your current status of range. So 23 miles in our personal mode. If we go to, let's say, our green mode for a second, it's going to recalculate that range just for us. Still says 23 miles. Let's see if max range will give us any bit of a different range here. 28 miles. So if you really were desperate, you gotta pop it into max range mode and squeeze a little bit more juice out of this battery pack. But we're gonna make our way to the charger here. We've been doing pretty good on this particular charge that we had, so we can go over to our efficiency settings right here, and we'll see since our start of trip today. Let's go to last charge. 109.8 miles plus, let's say 28. So that's honestly right around what we were able to charge, but we were able to kind of coast and recuperate around, I think this is correct, 12 kilowatt hours back into the battery pack over our last charging session. So that's not bad. But let's go head off, charge the MINI, and in max range mode, it does limit you to 60 miles an hour, as we see right here. So if you're on the highway, make sure you're in the right lane. And let's go head off to charge. Alright guys, we have just pulled up to the charging station here. We're at a Tesla supercharger with the magic connector. We now have only 19 miles of range left in our regular mode. I probably max, it says around, oh yeah, pretty low. So let's go plug in the MINI and get charging. It's a pretty simple process to do. We do have to pull up really far back to actually get this to happen, but because these are an older charger other than the new V4 ones, so let's press this in, lock it into place, and I think I got back far enough. Yes, perfect. That goes into there. Now soon these will be able to do plug and charge, but for right now we're gonna go sign into the app and get that ready. Okay guys, we're plugged in and officially charging, and we're watching it ramp up. Now with a preconditioned pack, batteries warm, and at a functioning charger at this time, you can see that we're actually getting some pretty good charging results so far. So we're already up to almost a peak of 130 kilowatts for this car's speed. We're already at 126. Last time with a colder pack and we couldn't precondition, it was really limited around in the 80s, and then finally climbed up to around like 102-ish there. So this is great for charging on our end. We can see we have it set to 80%, but we make it charge a little bit less just for a time. But right now it's saying 640 it'll take, so it's around 38 minutes to get to 80%. So that's just around what MINI claims. They say about 30 minutes. So that's actually not too bad. So this is a little bit closer to the claim time than what we saw before. We can also turn the vehicle off, and we'll get a cool little charging screen on here. Heads-up display will go away, and this is a pretty cool charging screen on here. It's going to show us our mileage, our percent, as well as our current speed as well, and a cool little graph here showing us how complete the charging status is. But this is a much better charging session than before, and 195 miles at 640 is actually a little bit higher, so it knows we're driving more efficient. So let's see if we have any issues during this charging session, and stay tuned for more. Okay guys, we are almost done charging, but I do want to point this out for you guys on the MINI infotainment system. If you are buying or purchasing this vehicle, and let's say you're charging and you want to entertain yourself per se, you do have to make sure to sign in with a MINI ID first of all. That will literally unlock pretty much almost every feature on this car. But let's say you want to go to the store and play a game. Well, you actually have to upgrade to the MINI Connected Plus plan, which is around $10 a month, or $9.99 a month, as MINI will say. Hopefully it will load right now, and then you can eventually unlock the MINI games to play. The air console games, or you can use your phone as a controller. Here it is. So $9.99. That will unlock for you a few other features other than just the air console games. So purchasing this from $9.99 a month, then you're going to get additional apps as well, which it doesn't really tell you that much about, but it's also going to allow you to have some more features from your vehicle, such as the air console, like I mentioned, hill descent control, so you have to pay extra for that. The fully upgraded Spike personal assistant, we don't really get that without this. Some additional door and window features, which honestly are not very useful. Extended maps, which don't really need, but video streaming could be fun, and that air console, and I'm not sure why they packaged hill descent control in there as well, but it's pretty interesting because there actually are a lot of other games as well, but I can't purchase any of them unless I get that upgraded subscription plan in there, which is pretty interesting. And I just want to point out that other virtual assistant here is not Spike. It's this cool little mini car, but at least it does do some fun things. Hey, Mini, turn on the driver heated seat.
Seat heating on for the driver.
Thank you. Okay, guys, we just hit 80%, and look at that, charging is complete. We actually got more range than originally expected at 201 miles. And if we were to charge to 100, it's estimating that we would get 251 miles. And this is a car that has a 212 mile EPA official rating. This is pretty close to the European WLTP rating, which is kind of cool. That just shows if you're driving more efficiently, you're going to get way more range out of these BMW Group EVs. I've seen this in the i4s and the i5s and even the i7 as well. So I've been able to drive all of them. But let's go unplug and head off with this MINI Countryman SE. Pretty solid charging performances. We are actually finished about 4 minutes quicker than it originally expected, which is also really good. So really close to that 30-minute 10 to 80% time. And we got way more range than I think expected. So good job here, MINI Countryman SE. And let's go head off to drive. Hello everyone, welcome back to Allcarnews, and we're in the 2025 Mini Cooper Countryman SE, and we're going to be charging it because we have 8% state of charge. We are plugged in at this Tesla supercharger with the Magic connector. This Mini will be able to charge on pretty much almost all Tesla superchargers soon, as it is getting just full supercharger access, and I think they're going to eventually put the next port on these cars, but for now, let's test out this vehicle. So we have a 65-ish kilowatt hour battery pack around there. So we're at 8% state of charge. That's giving us 18 miles. We're going to set it to an 80% charge target. If you wanted to go to 100% over here, it's telling you 80% is recommended. It's saying 214 miles based off of my current driving style. You also have departure plan information here if you want to set that up for charging at home, as well as preconditioning right here. It will actually automatically start if you sign in to your navigation and put in a charger. It knows you're going there, and you can activate it once, but we obviously can't do that right now because we're plugged in. Pretty cool. Some also location-based charge settings too, and you have plug and charge connected to your Mini app, which is pretty cool. We just haven't started the charging session, guys, so don't worry about that. It's just plugged in. So we're going to actually start this charging session here, see what kind of information the Mini will give us. It is showing it is plugged in right now, even though it's not charging. Some recent efficiency numbers over our last charge, and how far we've actually been able to go since the last time I think this thing was fully charged. So maybe we'll be a little more efficient this round, but let's go plug in, start charging, and see what this Mini can do. Okay, so we are at a supercharger with this Magic connector with the V4 stalls. Let's go plug it in. Our charge ports are open. We have these two nice doors. Plugs in super easy. Once I can line it up, locks into place there. We'll have some connection there, and you can unlock it by pressing this button. Let's go hop inside and start our charging. Okay guys, so we just started charging here. You can see it's ramping up its speed right now. This thing has a max kilowatt speed around 130 kilowatts on DC fast charging, which isn't the fastest, and that will typically hit at a peak of around 19-ish%. So I think it's just going to take a little bit of time to ramp up to that speed, but even with a cold battery pack today, it's 50 degrees outside. It is telling us the battery pack is cold up here, which is pretty cool. I'm not sure why it's not showing us in here, but I have this nice little charging animation here, and we don't really have any other screens to kind of show us stuff, so this is pretty cool that what we're getting inside of the vehicle here, which I quite like. And I like that Mini is showing us some actual charging data as well. That is pretty cool to see. You can also adjust your charge target if you do need to, and then of course just mess around with the infotainment system. There's so much stuff to mess around and edit here. You even can download some games, I believe, from the Mini Connected store if you want to play those while charging as well. So lots of fun things in here. You have drive recorders, interior cameras you can have, and even your seats have a massaging function for the front driver as well. So that is definitely a nice comfort feature while charging. So it is giving us an estimate right now of around 551 to 80%. Now we're just around 8% state of charge while starting this. So Mini's claim timed to get to 80 is around 30-ish minutes from, I think, just up to 80%. So we'll see if it can actually do that. But right now, 551 is not looking like an exact 30 minutes. Okay guys, we're getting really close to around 19% stated charge, and just as the Mini's charging curve would predict, we're ramping up our charging speed. So we're now up to around 118 kilowatts for our charging speed, and I'm expecting around 19 kilowatts. We'll hopefully, around 19%, we'll hopefully see it jump to around that peak of close to 130. We're getting there right now. It might start ramping up, but this is charging pretty quickly. We're going to see if that 551 time is truly accurate, but this is a pretty full charger. I don't think that should affect any of our charging performance though throughout this. Okay guys, well, it didn't ramp up to the full 130 kilowatts speed here. The battery was cold, to keep in mention, so that may be restricting it, and we weren't able to precondition because we were so low in range. But we are at 26% now at around 110 kilowatts, so it is looking like the Mini's range predictor is a little more accurate than expected, which is quite nice. Okay guys, we moved the charge target just around 60, and look at that, we have completed our charge. Just gotta head off, but we now have 135 miles of estimated range at 60%. It has deconnected the contactor, so we're going to go unplug it. That was a pretty quick-ish charging session. We started around 5, just around 5:10, and it's now 5:30 to get around 135 miles of range. I guess that's not bad. I would have liked to see a higher charging speeds and up to 80%, and around claimed 10 to 80% times around 30 minutes. So I'm sure you can get that in ideal conditions, but remember, our battery was cold. It eventually warmed up, and we couldn't precondition of low percentage and range of the car. So this is not bad of charging results. And again, this is a lower range EV, max around 212, maybe 215, 220 if you're babying it. So it's more meant for around town, but since it does have up to 130 kilowatt DC fast charging speeds, you definitely could go on some long road trips.